host of the Gridiron.
Fourth and goal to go with the 2. 34 seconds left to go in the ball game. This is the play right now. Takes the snap. Talking and goes in. Talking and all alone. And the quarterback keeps. Wow, what a call. Nobody touched him.
Mr. Stafford tells the truth about his giant saga, right? Well, I mean, apparently, I guess it all came down to, I always wanted to be in L.A. Well, you always say those things after, after the, after all the dust settles and you sign on a dotted line. I always wanted to be here. I love L.A., you know what I mean? But that's apparently not like according to like what his wife was saying. I mean, she was like posting stuff like, maybe we need a fresh start, or we can go someplace else, or it's nice to be welcome where you something, whatever, so after everything's all said and done, I mean, like, you always say nice things about the team that signed you, right? So, but according to Matthew Stafford reveals the truth about his Giants flirtation during the offseason trade saga. Once again, it was Los Angeles all along for Matthew Stafford. Well, the Giants did offer him some money, that's for sure, and he turned it down. Speaking to reporters Monday following an eventful offseason in which the Giants and Raiders heavily pursued him before he re-upped with the Rams, the 37-year-old quarterback revealed he never really wanted to leave the team he's called home since 2021. Okay. There are so many positive things about our organization and about our team. I never really wanted to leave. I'm just happy to be back and happy that the Rams want me back. We can move forward and hopefully have a great season, Stafford said on the first day of the team's offseason program, according to ProFootballTalk. Coming off a 10-7 regular season and divisional round playoff appearance, Los Angeles fell to the eventual Super Bowl Philadelphia Void years in a close game. That was by the closest game that the Philadelphia Void years had in the playoffs. So the Rams gave him a good run for the money. Stafford entered an offseason with plenty of questions about the future and whether it would include another run with the Rams. The Rams granted their Super Bowl winning quarterback permission to speak with other clubs about his value in February. That same month, it was reported Stafford was seeking a new deal in the $50 million per season ballpark. And I swore that's about what the Giants gave him, right? Or coming close. Although conversations were had with the Raiders and the Giants, a resolution came in late February with the Rams, and Stafford agreed to continue their union on a revised contract. Giants had discussed a deal between $90 and $100 million, Paul Schwartz confirmed at the time. I'm thinking that's 2 years. Stafford, who has made LA his home base with his wife Kelly and their 4 daughters, said Monday, wanting to be back with the Rams was my number one priority. I think the longer that I'm in the game and the longer that I'm playing football, there's an understanding between myself and the organization on what we want that to look like and what we want that to be. That has been great communication-wise with those guys, he said. This isn't the first time Stafford's lauded Rams brass over how the situation played out. Head coach Sean McVay, an integral part of the bringing Stafford to the Rams in 2021 following the blockbuster trade with the Lions, right? The Goff-Stafford deal, right? Had great communication with the team's quarterback one throughout the process. We had grown-up conversations because he and I known each other and gone through a lot together. So all that was a positive and good in the end, especially getting to the point where I know that I'm extremely excited to be back. I know Kelly is extremely excited to be back. Well, yeah, that's not all. Yeah, some of the stuff seemed like she was posting, right, on social media was not all roses and sunshine, shall we say, about the Rams organization. Sounds like, so, once again, all this stuff you don't know. What was going on? Did he go out there and he's trying to drum up some business, and and the Rams like, oh man, you got some teams interested. We better, we better do something, because to be honest, I mean, the Rams ain't going nowhere if they ain't got Stafford. They would have to try to draft a quarterback this season and try to make that work out. Now McVay's, I'm sure can do some nice things with a new quarterback, but Matthew Stafford, if they keep him upright, if they can keep him healthy, obviously he's the man you certainly want to obviously have. So, but once again, I mean, all that he could have been, just using the Giants and any other team that wanted to give him an offer, to see if he can up, what the Rams are going to offer him. So, but the thing is that you figure, it's the same thing with Russell Wilson, the same thing with Jameson Winston. If they did get Stafford, how long would he be here for? Be here for just a couple of seasons. Even if they got Stafford here, I mean, $40 to $50 million. Now, obviously, this season here, he wouldn't be making 40 or 50. They would somehow give him a signing bonus, spread it out over a couple of years. And so his cap hit this season wouldn't be 40 or 50, might be a little under 40. But still, that'd be a large chunk of money, right, out of their salary cap. And, with Stafford, if everything went well, if everybody was able to stay healthy and all of that stuff, I still don't see the Giants going to no Super Bowl or nothing like that. And, he's not the long-term answer, right? The Giants need to draft a quarterback. Hopefully in this upcoming draft, that maybe they can work with. The thing is it's going to be, does this regime draft a quarterback? If they do, does this regime or, whatever, make it to next season? Right? Because, if they don't make it to next season, they're going to have a quarterback on the roster that they drafted, say, in the second round, right? New, maybe GM, new coach, whoever's going to come in and say, hey, by the way, Jalen Milroe's your quarterback for the future. And the coach might be like, that ain't my quarterback. I mean, we need another, so. Well, we're going to find out. One interesting thing, right, is that, as I was saying about this the other night, how this draft here, okay, feels different than last year's draft, right? Last year's draft, there was a lot of quarterbacks, but a lot of them went early, all right? So that almost kind of made it where the Giants really could maybe trade back into the first round. Plus, also last season, the Giants were rolling the dice with Daniel Jones. He's our quarterback. At the beginning of the season, he's our quarterback, right? So we're not necessarily looking for a quarterback. This season, they are looking for a quarterback. Now, last year, they drafted early at 6, right? This year, they drafted even earlier at 3. But this season, you kind of get the feeling that there's a possibility that they might trade. Guys, it was like after it was like last year, after they took Malik at number 6, I watched the rest of the first round. But I never really got a feeling, any type of a gut feeling the Giants could trade back into the first round for somebody. It was just kind of like, that's cool. And then by the time, all 800 quarterbacks in the first round were off the board in the first 10 picks. It was kind of like, I'll just sit here and I'll watch the rest of the first round, and I'll be getting ready for Friday. When round 2 comes around, we'll see what the Giants do around. This season to watch, this draft to watch all the way to the end. It's always saying, are they going to pull the trigger? Jump back into the first round? If Milroe's still there, is Dart still there? Jump in front of maybe the Steelers or something like that. So this draft definitely has a different feel to it, without question. If the Giants can get like a blue chip player like Carter and then possibly get their quarterback in the future, wherever that is, right? This would be a real successful draft, I think, for the Giants.